Hi, I'm called Sagan, and I will talk about friction. First of all, friction is a force due to the natural constant resistance of motion between surfaces or materials and is parallel to them. For example, when you're playing soccer and you pass the ball to another player, sometimes do you see that the ball doesn't travel enough? Well, that's friction. The grass has certain friction, and the ball also is traveling, and the grass is stopping the ball, stopping slowly until it doesn't travel enough. Another example is the plane. The plane has the wings with a certain form, so the air can pass downwards them when they're flying. That's why the plane doesn't fall down when it's traveling. And also has like a triangle, I don't know if you can see. So the air can pass through this. For example, like this, got certain friction, but the form helps the plane. Another example is the car. The design of the car, of a deportive car, you can see it's like the air passes above the car and also by the sides. But how do you calculate the friction of something? Well, come and evaluate this. Sorry for the color, but I couldn't erase that correctly because it was with another marker. Okay, friction is equals to the friction coefficient times normal force, where the friction coefficient is unitless. The coefficient is characteristic of a contact between materials. For example, imagine this is an object with a mass, you're applying the force directly to this side, and a friction is to this side. But when the friction is greater than the force, it is called the static friction, because it's greater than the force, so the object doesn't move. To calculate this static friction, the formula is static friction is equals friction coefficient, as we said, but static times normal force. Okay, when the exerted force F on an object is greater than the friction, the object moves, and the friction is called kinetic friction. Kinetic is movement, so the object can move. And to calculate this is static friction is equals to friction coefficient of kinetic friction times normal force. I will put you an example to calculate something. For example, imagine this is a mass, and this is a force related to this, and the friction is due to the side. But as we know, there are four forces that act on it, like the normal force, that is upwards, and the weight, downwards. The formula to get the friction is equals to the F. This is assumed of all the forces of X is equals to the mass times acceleration. So as I said, all the sum of all the forces of X is equals to the force times the cosine of 0, because I don't keep an angle, so I can keep it 0 is force times cosine 0 plus the normal force cosine of 90, cosine of 90, because it makes like an angle here, 90 degrees, plus friction times cosine of 180 times weight cosine of 270 is equal to mass times acceleration. Let's suppose that we have some force and some mass, so we can get the friction. So is the cosine of 0 is equals 1, so it's force times 1. This is an X number, it's a number that I give, so imagine it's 1. And cosine of 90 is 0, cosine of 270 degrees is 0, and we only have the cosine of 180. And with cosine